The Lowe's Closeout event means the final savings of the season are here. It's your last chance to get deals on seasonal decor, tools, flooring, and so much more. Refresh your home, check off your project list, or simply stock up on the brands you trust. Shop now to grab amazing deals before they're gone. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 1/7. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Meal.
Well, good morning, everyone. Gordy Kosfeld here sitting. I'm kind of lonely this morning. I need some people to come on by and visit with us about sports in the Faribault area. We're in the holidays. I understand that, and I understand that people should be with their families, but I was kind of hoping we get a couple of folks here. I know Royals in Florida. I think it was Florida this time. It was when he was last gone, he was in South Dakota. I believe he's going to Florida this time. So he's somewhere nice and warm. And we got a winter storm watch in effect tomorrow. We're supposed to get 4 to 6 inches of snow tomorrow. I got to be honest, look at the forecast for New Year's Eve, but I can tell you that New Year's Eve here at James Bowl, where you always strike a great meal, they're going to have a great special on New Year's Eve night. You can bowl from 8 until midnight for $15, all the games you can bowl. 8 to midnight, $15. It's a heck of a deal. So take the whole family, come on out here on New Year's Eve night. I'm sure they got some other deals going on New Year's Eve, if you know what I mean, here at J-Mo's Bowl, where you always strike a terrific meal. I asked Ryan before if we had any super New Year's Eve specials, and he said, well, the bowling is going to be 8 to midnight for $15. That's where I'm located right now. I'm at J-Mo's Bowl. I'm sitting in, I was trying to think of what I would call this room, and I'm going to call it the coffee room, just off the main dining area. And then the bowling center is just off of the coffee room. I call it the coffee room because the coffee's in the corner of the room. You could call it the bull shooter room, too, because the bull shooter dartboard is in this room. Let's see, should we call it the bull shooter room or the coffee room? Bull shooter might actually be better. Anyway, that's where we're sitting. I'm at table number 2, and we're going to go over, I guess, some information about the various teams and how they're doing as we head into the holiday break here. Actually, we're going to be coming out of it this next week. I do have a couple of Faribault Falcon boys and girls. Well, I got one anyway. Boys and girls basketball game coming up on Tuesday. Both teams play at Stewartville. Neither of those teams is involved in any kind of a holiday tournament. Bethlehem Academy, the best of my knowledge, is also not involved in any kind of a holiday tournament, the boys or the girls. Last week we did do a BA girls game down in Cleveland. Boy, did they take it to the Clippers. I was kind of hoping that maybe somebody might pop on out from Bethlehem Academy girls team. I'll tell you, Anna Croak was unbelievable. She had 30 points and super efficient. I don't keep track of shots taken. It's kind of hard to keep track of points off turnovers, and all that good stuff. I'm by myself, so, I take care of what I think I can take care of. But she was really efficient. In a high school basketball game, to score 30 points, you have to be efficient. There's just not as much time as there is in a professional game or a college game. In a high school game, 30 points is phenomenal. And Ms. Croak was phenomenal in that game. The whole team played well. She was the only one in double figures. But they knew where their bread was buttered, right? Get the ball to your hot player. That's exactly what the Cardinals did on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I saw the Cannon Falls Bombers at Red Wing in boys basketball action. Red Wing, of course, is a Big 9 conference school, but they are in Section AA, 1AA. same section as Cannon Falls, and the Bombers really took it to them. I think it was 85-59, if I remember right. 25 points off 22 Red Wing turnovers was the key statistic of that game. That was on Tuesday. As I said, this coming Tuesday, both the Faribault girls and the Faribault boys will be at Stewartville. And I think, if I remember right, and I'm going to grab my phone here to help me with my memory, they play at like 5 and 7, like a normal time, so that, you don't have to take off work to go see the game. That's the other thing. I've never understood these tournaments they have over the holidays. Do they think everybody takes a whole 8 days or so off for Christmas? I suppose some teachers might be able to do that, but there aren't many people in jobs that are going to take that much time off. So if they play it like 1 or 2 in the afternoon or something, I just have not understood that. Just play it at a normal time in the evening, and that's, I think, what they're doing in that Stewartville game. But we're going to double-check it here. I'm going to look it up. Let's see here. Big 9 Conference. That'll bring me up their calendars. And there's Big 9 conferences in more than just Minnesota, so you got to put Minnesota in there. Big 9 Conference school activity calendars. Well, we've got spring, we've got winter, we've got fall. I thought maybe I was at the conference calendars, but I'm not. I thought I was. I just want an overall calendar here, man. This shouldn't be this hard. So now I got to go back. School activity calendars. There we go. Now we bring up Faribault. And it's thinking. By the way, while it's thinking, I'm going to tell you about our special New Year's Eve Day Top 5 News, Top 5 Sports Stories of 2025 program. It'll follow a special interview with our Mayor, Tom Spooner, every year for many, many years. This goes all the way back to the Chuck Ackman mayor days. He agreed to come in on New Year's Eve Day. We do a review of the current year and a preview of the next year. And we did that, of course, with Mayor Ackman, with Mayor Voracek, and now Tom Spooner's agreed to do it starting, of course, this year on New Year's Eve Day from 9:30 to 10. He's on AM Minnesota. And then right after that, we jump into our top 5 news, top 5 sports stories of 2025 in Faribault. And I'm going to give you a hint. In some years, our top 5 news stories on the KDHL station don't include a lot of Faribault stuff in the top 5 sports stories. It's happened that way. The last few years we've been able to do it, and I can guarantee you there's going to be some mention. I mean, the Bethlehem Academy Cardinal fast pitch softball team placed 3rd at state last spring, right? They're in the top 5. And the 7th grader from Faribault High School, McKenna Gunderson, who placed 11th and the state swimming and diving meet as a diver, placed 11th in diving, meaning she was all-state as a 7th grader. I know that's in our top 5 sports stories, local stories in 2025. So you might want to tune in on Wednesday and see if you agree. Now, you don't necessarily have to agree. The order is always iffy, right? What should really be number one? Well, in my mind, my number 1 stories are state championships. State championships, like the Dodge County Wildcat girls hockey team, state champions. The Pine Island Panther baseball team last spring, state champions. That's kind of, in my mind, what should be a number 1, winning a state title. But again, in that top 5 will be Bethlehem Academy's fast pitch team placing third at the state tournament. Of course, United South Central, a fellow Gopher Conference team, ended up winning the Class A title. So you had the number 1 team and the number 3 team in the state out of the Gopher Conference. I'd say that's awesome. Don't you think that's pretty awesome? I think that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. They're in the top 5. I can't remember all of the top 5 off the top of my bald head, but those are some that I know will be in the top 5 sports stories of 2025. Top 5 news stories of 2025. You might want to tune in and find out what we choose. And again, you don't have to agree with me. I have a hankering, our number 1 story in the news. And we try to keep it local, but we will have some state stuff in there. I have a feeling our number 1 story is going to be a very positive one this year for 2025. You might want to tune in and find out. Big thank you to the folks at H&R Block with offices in Faribault, Atana, and Lakeville. They really know taxes, and they are assisting us in bringing you that show on New Year's Eve day. Again, 9:30 to 10, we visit with Mayor Tom Spooner. And then from 10 to 10:30, it's the top 5 news and the top 5 sports stories of 2025. Getting out the Faribault High School sports calendar here. On Monday, it looks like the South Central Flyers girls hockey team, which includes Faribault, Waseca, and all points in between, is playing at Bud King Arena in Winona on Monday. It doesn't say what time here, though. It says this game is played at Bud King Ice Arena in Winona, and Waseca is arranging the bus for the event. Boys hockey is at 5 o'clock, and they are playing in Windham. So the boys hockey team plays at 5 o'clock Monday in Windham, and it doesn't give a time for the girls hockey team. So that's nice. On Tuesday, again, it has no time listed here for the girls' play. They play at Bud King Arena, so there must be in some mini tournament of some sort. The boys hockey team plays at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, and they will be again in Windham. Says here matchups to be set at a later date. Well, you would think they'd have the matchups set by now, right? The games are on Monday and Tuesday, but they're not listed here on the Faribault schedule anyway. Oh, boy. Monday, game 1 is at 5, game 2 is at 7. Tuesday, game 1 is at 3, and game 2 is at 5. Wednesday, game 1 is at 10 in the morning, and game 2 is at noon. That's the Windham boys hockey one, Windham. As I mentioned, boys and girls basketball teams play at Stewartville on Tuesday. Girls varsity is at 6, it says here. Girls varsity is at 6. And the boys will follow at 7:30. We'll have both those games for you from Stewartville High School on Tuesday on our airwaves. KDHL 920 on your M dial, 97.9 FM. Worldwide on our free KDHL app. Free to download your favorite app store. Of course, Thursday is New Year's Day. On Friday, the boys hockey team has a game against Fairmont. 7 o'clock drop of the puck on Friday there in the Martin County Arena on the Martin County Fairgrounds in Fairmont, Minnesota. So that's what's on the calendar for this coming week for Faribault teams. And I'll get to their other calendars in a moment. Well, might as well do that now, right? Let's get to the other calendars now. Because it's on my phone. Well, no, now let's do BA. So we got to go back to our search engine and go to Bethlehem Academy and tell you what their schedule's like. Oops, I should have gone to Gopher Conference. Gopher Conference, Minnesota. Because, believe it or not, there's some Gopher Conferences in other states. Whoops, I pushed the wrong one. I got Blooming Prairie when I wanted Bethlehem Academy. My fingers, it's too small here. Bethlehem Academy. Again, they have nothing going on. They're on the Christmas break, both the boys and the girls. So nothing to report there. And I don't see anything this next week either. Listed anyway. On the Bethlehem Academy calendar. Let's see here. Well, nothing on January 2nd, which would be Friday of next week. Saturday, it says here that the boys, or excuse me, that the girls are scheduled to play at 2:30 at Kingsland High School on Saturday. And the boys play Lyle Pacelli at Van Orso Auditorium also at 2:30 on Saturday. This coming Saturday, those are the Bethlehem Academy Cardinals. On January the 6th, as I scroll down, I see the girls play at 7 in the evening at home against Kenyon Wanamingo, while the boys are at Kenyon Wanamingo. I think I've got one of those games on the airwaves. I just can't remember which one. And like silly me, I didn't bring my schedule out here today, but I'm pretty sure I've got a BA Kenyon Wanamingo game that night. The question is it the boys or is it the girls? I don't know. January the 8th. Now those are 7th graders. Bethlehem Academy. So that's the schedule for next week at BA. Wrestlers are in action, I think. Let me just double check that here. Go back to the Big Nine Conference. Why I have to retype it in again, I'll never know. Big Nine Conference, Minnesota. Come on. Why is it asking me to sign in, for God's sakes? Oh, it's very frustrating. Well, maybe we can do a review of the conference champions of the Big Nine this past season, 25-26. Girls tennis, Rochester Mayo, no surprise, their third straight state title. They've won 76 consecutive matches. And Faribault's girls tennis team had a very good fall. Girls soccer, Rochester Century was the Big Nine Conference champ. In boys soccer, Rochester John Marshall won the Big Nine Conference title. Northfield was the volleyball champ. I think it's 4 years in a row for them. The girls cross-country team, Northfield. Owatonna won the boys cross-country. Rochester Century was the girls swimming and diving champion in the fall of 2025-26. Of course, we're on the winter season now. Last season in the winter, Austin won the conference dance team competition. Albert Lee in girls hockey. Boys swimming and diving went to Rochester Century. Albert Lee of the wrestling. Gymnastics, Owatonna, they of course went on to win a state championship in Class 2A, the Owatonna Huskies in gymnastics. Northfield in boys hockey. Mayo in girls basketball. Mankato East won the Big Nine title in boys basketball. John Marshall was the conference speech champion. Boys alpine skiing went to Mankato West. Girls alpine to Northfield. And last spring, in the Big Nine, Mankato East softball champs, Rochester Mayo tennis champs, boys. Girls golf, Northfield and Owatonna tied. Boys golf, it doesn't list anybody here. Well, somebody had to win. Boys lacrosse, Northfield. Girls lacrosse, nothing listed. In boys track and field, Mankato East. Girls track and field, Rochester Century and Mankato West. And Mankato East won the Big Nine Conference baseball title. That's what happened in the Big Nine this past season. Again, H&R Block with offices in Faribault, in Lakeville, and in Owatonna is bringing you our top 5 news, top 5 sports stories of 2025. The show will air at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. We'll go until 10:30 or thereabouts. That's the plan. From 9:30 to 10, Mayor Tom Spooner will join me for our annual end-of-the-year visit with the mayor. We've done this, as I said, since way back when Chuck Ackman was our mayor. And I can't remember when we started it. But we've been doing it for a number of years. New Year's Eve day, on the years that I went and took vacation, either Jerry visited with a person or I taped something in advance. Because, before COVID happened, I would quite frequently take a vacation the week of Christmas. I would ring bells on Christmas Eve, like I did again this year at Fairway Foods. By the way, I thought the traffic was lighter this year than it's been in recent years. I did not think I was as busy as I typically am. We still had some awesome stories. Ladies coming by to write me a check for $500. Say, hey, this is for the Salvation Army. Awesome. I love those stories. People stopping by and saying they never forgot when they were children. These are older people, older than me, and I'm pretty old. I mean, relatively speaking. I guess I'm not, relatively speaking. But these were older than me people stopping by and saying, I remember in my youth, we were on some hard times, and the Salvation Army helped our family, and I've never forgotten it. I have one person that comes every year, $500 check, says, this is for what happened when I was a kid. That's awesome. Then you don't just take that for granted, right? She remembers vividly the assistance that they got when they desperately needed it. I had somebody come by and said they had a fire in their home. And the Salvation Army assisted them. It was about this time of year they had that fire. So those are some of the stories you get to hear. While I've got a minute, I'm going to plead with you to please take a 2-hour shift and ring Salvation Army bells during the holidays. They were short of bell ringers again this year, which means we might not hit the goal. It was going so well when they first started. Of course, it's warmer when they first start around Thanksgiving than it is around Christmas. And I know a lot of people have plans around Christmas, which is the number one reason why I have always volunteered to ring on Christmas Eve. I honestly believe that the holidays, Christmas, is for families. But whole families can ring, and I think that's pretty cool when mom, dad, the kids are out ringing together on Christmas Eve. And it's only a 2-hour shift, just 2 hours. That's all it takes. So hopefully it's next year we'll get more people out, because I think they ended up with not having every shift manned this week during Christmas week, and that's typically their busiest week. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It really is. Now, I relieved somebody at Fairway, so I think they were good on Christmas Eve day, but I think out at Hy-Vee they might have been a little short. I'll be checking with some folks, and we'll get some details for you for our newscasts next week. And I don't know when we'll get numbers. I know Olmsted County's already said that they exceeded their goal. I know the metropolitan area says they've already exceeded their Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign goal. The goal in Rice County, which had bell ringing in Northfield, Lonsdale, and Faribault, was $100,000. I know Don Pavic, who is the chief of bell ringers in Northfield, or the scheduler, I should say, said he thought he was pretty confident they were going to get to his goal of $30,000 in Northfield. And typically we do better than that in Faribault. So Lonsdale's usually right around $5,000, I think, something like that. So we needed a lot of help to hit that $100,000 goal, and the need was definitely there because last year they ran out of money at the end of September. That means October, November, December, no funds to dole out locally here in Rice County. They raised in the $93,000 range and ran out of funds by the end of September. So it would really be nice to hit the goal. I honestly think the goal may not even take care of the need, to be honest. Right? 93,000 done by the end of September, and you still had 3 months left, so probably need to raise more than $100,000. That'd be awesome. So next year, please consider that. I think it's pretty cool when teams do it as well. I'm talking high school teams, whether it's, whatever team it is. It can be the high school boys basketball, girls hockey, boys hockey teams. It can be a robotics team. It can be anything, speech. It's a good way to give back to your community and teach kids about giving back, about doing things for others, devoting time, donating your time to a worthy cause. Great opportunity for that, right? Those bell ringings. So hopefully next year we can get those filled up. It was a lot of fun. It always is a lot of fun. I was very tired when I got home, man. I went right to sleep almost because I was on my feet a lot of time. I sat, there's a bench there at Fairway, so I did sit more than I have most years. I got to be honest about that. As I get older, I sit more than I stand. I usually help them put carts away and that sort of thing while I'm ringing the bell. Nice to see some good people who stop by, but I think that the crowd was not as big as it always has been in the past over at Fairway anyway. So Royal's not here to talk about Trek Properties, but they have expanded their footprint. Make sure you get a hold of Royal. If you're in the business of either purchasing or selling a home, he assists you with that at Trek Properties. And for Royal Ross, this is Gordy Kosfeld wishing all
the southern winter is the perfect time to explore California. And there's no better way to do it than in a brand new Toyota hybrid with 19 fuel-efficient options, like the stylish all-hybrid Camry, the adventure-ready RAV4 hybrid, or the rugged Tacoma hybrid. Toyota has the perfect ride for any adventure. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan, an exclusive hybrid battery warranty, And of course, Toyota's legendary quality and reliability. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive one today so you can be prepared for wherever the road takes you this winter. Toyota, let's go places. See your local Toyota dealer for hybrid battery warranty details.